Hey guys, what's up? This is Brian here. Got my youngest Paxton with me, and today we're gonna have my buddy Trent Thompson. He's gonna do a review on a Barnett Recruit crossbow, or I'm sorry, it's the Barnett Ghost 420 crossbow. The Recruit's the one that we have. Anyhow, I just want to do a quick introduction because this is gonna be Trent's first video. He's been my buddy for a long time, and we recently found out that we live close to each other and we hunt the same public ground, so that's pretty neat. So we kind of hooked up and did a few hunts this year together, and I talked him into purchasing a camera, and the rest is history. So I think we're gonna see some cool hunts from him this year, and without further ado, I guess I'll just shut up and let you hear from Trent.
Alright, so this is my review of the new Barnett Ghost 420 crossbow. Barnett's had a fairly long history in the crossbow business, archery business. So they've been around a little while. Their last launch, I think it was of a Ghost 410 or the Ghost 415. Didn't go so well for them. Had some quality issues, cable issues. I don't know. I think a lot of that has been flushed out. It kind of took them a good failure to figure some stuff out. So with this, after having shot it, a couple things that are a little different from compound hunter to now, shooting a crossbow is the noise. Don't expect crossbows to be as quiet as compound. They're just not there yet. They are, jarringly loud when you shoot one. It kind of sets you back a little bit compared to what a compound puts out. I haven't put a meter on it to see how many decibels it is when it shoots. To me, it's kind of irrelevant, because if you keep your shots to that 30-40 yard range, the arrow is going to be through the deer before they really have a chance to react measurably. Now, if you try and be like some of these guys that want to shoot 100 yards, yeah, that deer could do a backflip. It could turn inside out in that amount of time. So I wouldn't advise that in any stretch of the imagination. I don't care what you're shooting at, unless it's an inanimate object, paper target, a bag, whatever. Then okay, shoot it, impress all your friends. But for the hunting world, 40-50 yards is absolute max range. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how many targets you've shot, how titles you hold, whatever. 40-50 yards in a hunting situation, you're getting to that window where that deer has enough time to react. It can lunge forward, drop completely out of the path of the arrow, whatever. So yeah. The other thing that kind of sticks in my mind with the Barnett 420 is the fact that they get that 420 by shooting a 380 grain arrow. That's how they, sneak by on their flagship bow. You're not going to shoot a 380 grain arrow. You're probably not even going to shoot a 400 grain arrow. You're probably going to be closer to like 425 to 450. So, the reason I say that, this is a Gold Tip Ballistic Pro 425, 8.5 grains per inch, 22-inch bolt. 100 grain head. Some of the guys say you got to run 125 grain head to get good front of center percentage. Honestly, I've shot them both. I can't tell you that the 125s group any better than the 100s do, but I can tell you the 100s keep your trajectory a little bit flatter out there to 40-50 yards. So in my opinion, I'll be running 100 grain heads, and I'm not going to lose any sleep that my front of center weight isn't quite what all the experts say it needs to be. So. The other thing is lighted nocks. Lighted nocks are always going to add some weight to your arrow, so you got to figure that in. This arrow, as it sits right now, is 447 grains, and that's going to be my hunting setup. I have a 100 grain head on it, and the lighted nock, that's just where I'm going to be. These arrows come in at about 417 grains with a 100 grain head and without a lighted nock. So I'll probably keep one of these in my quiver. It'll be, my decocking arrows, whatever. Shoot them into the ground, shoot them into a target. I'm not going to pack a crossbow target out there with me every time to decock my arrow. I'm probably just going to shoot it in the ground and look the other way. Hopefully I don't hit a rock and get a deflection or a ricochet. So just kind of how it goes in the real world. The scope is probably the nicest thing. It's the first thing that you're going to notice, first thing you're going to play with when you take it out of the box. It has an illuminated reticle on it. It's green or red. It has circles for 20, 30, 40, and then I believe it goes to solid dots for 50, 60, and 70. They are all lit up. Really helps during low light situations to acquire your sight picture. It's a Cross brand, which they're fairly well known. They do make quality optics. Has a variable dial on it for speed, so you shoot it at 20 yards, get it all dialed in, left, right, up, down, then go back to 30 yards and shoot, and you adjust the dial to compensate for your vertical elevation. That gives you a real, easy ballpark of, by scope calibration, what you should be shooting feet per second wise. Mine, after I did that little exercise, around 400 is what it's showing me, which 400 on a 450 grain arrow it's respectable. It's not 420, but it's good enough. Anything over about 350 feet per second is getting the job done on most any North American big game. So the one thing I do think helps this out on the noise is the string stopper setup. A lot of guys say you don't need them. Target shooters, oh yeah, you don't, that's just a gimmick, blah, blah, blah. Do you put the stoppers on the string? Do you keep them off the string? Does it make a difference? Honestly, it's good to have on a hunting setup. Anything you can do to cook any noise out of these, you can do it. I even added some alpha shocks to mine before I even shot it. They just go right in the limb, twist them in there. It's like $15. It helps take a little bit of vibration out of the limbs on anything, compounds, crossbows, whatever you got. If it has a string on it, it's going to vibrate when it shoots. Take any of the vibration out you can. String stoppers on these, they don't have an infinite number of adjustments or positions. There's certain detent spots where the screw goes up into, so it will stay off of the string just a little bit. But honestly, that's probably good for the wear on it. If you set them up to where they're really touching hard all the time, you're going to just beat the snot out of them. So it's good to leave them off just a little bit. This is pretty good setup. You can't really screw it up. I do like the little brushes for holding the arrows in instead of the old Barnett finger that comes down that gets broke off when you're going hunting, or you catch it on a stick going through the woods and it snaps off. So I do like that feature. The trigger is pretty good. I don't know that it's actually the 3 pounds or 3.5 pounds they claim it to be. I haven't put it on a scale to check it, but it does feel good. It does feel measurably better than the one on that old quad 400 or other crossbows I've shot. So tip of the cap there at Barnett. Nice job on the trigger tech system. The other thing that is really kind of neat to this particular bow and the riser is that it's a step-through riser. So one thing you'll notice is when you shoulder it, it's not quite as nose heavy as its predecessors have been. It doesn't have that big 6-inch stirrup hanging off the end of it to put your foot in when you want to cock it. So it's an integrated step-through design. I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera there, probably, but yeah, you eliminate all that weight out here by incorporating it into the riser. So it is pretty neat. One of those features that you take it out and you're kind of like, that's a good idea. But yeah, overall, like I said, I've shot it quite a bit so far, and I'm going to keep on shooting it. Yeah, it's worth the money. Honestly, right now, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm just kind of waiting on next October 1st to get here. All right, so that bag's 30 yards away. Here's kind of a view of what it looks like uncocked. Give you kind of a scale of the width of it. And I say to always run with them facing up when you cock it. I don't know that it matters, but what matters is that you do it consistently. So pick a way that works and do it like that every time. with the increased draw weight, it is a little harder to get cocked, but for the most part, it's not too bad. So there it is, ready to roll. Throw an arrow in, let you guys hear it. This is just at 30 yards. So. Shoot a couple at 30, and then I'm going to go back probably to 50 yards. Like I said, I've already shot this thing. I know it's good on 0, so this cross scope's pretty nice. Once you get it dialed in by their process at 20, and then you adjust the speed dial at 30 to compensate for the up and down, that gives you kind of a ballpark of where you're at. I'll just tell you, mine's set up now right at about 400. I'd say that'll do it. That's a lighted knock, if you couldn't tell. Yep. That gives you a little bit of an idea what it sounds like at the shot. I'm sitting directly beside the camera when I'm shooting, so that is as loud as she's gonna get. So yeah, now we'll go back to probably 50 yards and we'll try this baby out again. Alright, so this is actually 46 yards at the camera. I'm going to stay out here just a little bit in front of the camera so you guys can kind of see how this goes. I would encourage you, when you're practicing, to shoot odd yardages. Instead of always shooting 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards, 50 yards, whatever. Shoot it 32 yards. Shoot it 41 yards. Shoot it 56 yards, whatever. Pick a random number. And what I do, I don't know how you want to do it, but I will split my pins, like on my compound. If I have a deer that's at 35 yards, I will split my 30 pin and my 40 pin where I want the arrow to be. 42. And always take a couple hits on your rangefinder. Don't ever just take the first one. Get 2 or 3. That way you're sure. So 42 yards. I'm going to let it rip. Hold dead on. See where it's at. It's that easy. It's almost like it's not even fair. Not too bad.